Sponsored by Local Touch Online, a free online magazine that has an exclusive article by Pop Culture Geekery every month. Also sponsored by Hill Country Comic Con. Hill Country Comic Con is here to promote fun, art, literacy, and imagination through pop culture and comics. It will be held November 28th and 29th at the New Braunfels Convention Center. Go to hillcountrycomiccon.com to get your tickets today. Hello and welcome to another installment of my series called Unearthing My Childhood. This is my series that I go over some toys that I found in my parents' old house when we were cleaning it out last fall. And so this one we're going to go over my He-Man and the Masters of the Universe collection. And one thing that I realized is I've been sitting on this video for so long that I actually didn't have a filmed intro. So this picture is actually just a picture I had from when I was selling them off to my friends in the fall. But the regular videos of each figure will be much better quality. So I appreciate your patience on that, and let's take a look at these figures. So I'm actually going to start this one a little bit different. I'm going to focus first on the playset for Masters of the Universe, which is the mighty Castle Grayskull here. So for those of you who know the show, you know that this is where He-Man discovered the power sword and was able to learn how to transform into He-Man. And I wanted to start with this. You'll see in a little bit why I wanted to start with this. But here you see it has the drawbridge, which can be extended and opened. And you also see a little latch there. You can actually lock it from the inside. And I remember there was a big deal about whether or not the figures could actually walk through. So apparently, I guess on the old design, you actually had to turn them sideways to put them in. Or at least that's what the toys that made us made me believe. Anyway, but it definitely shows that the figures can fit in there and walk in there. And here's a little preview of He-Man, which we'll get to later. Before we open it up, I wanted to go ahead and show the back of it here. So just because this was not going to be the front-facing part, they did not skimp on the detail. They still went ahead and made a unique design here for the back, which is funny. Even as a kid, I always appreciated that because, you know, I just thought it would be real easy for them to just not care about this since you really wouldn't see it that much. So then this playset opens up, and this definitely goes in the category of toys that I played with a lot when I was a kid. So it's actually been up in my closet at my parents' home for, probably over 25 years, which explains all the dust you see. But yeah, unfortunately there are some pieces missing. So like you see here, there's this red flooring on this side. There used to be another one that went on this side, and that's where that ladder went, and whatever that piece is back there used to go. And then there used to be a really cool trap door there that when you swiveled the chair, a figure would actually fall through. And this was a little detail that I always loved. You fall through and you'd actually fall here in this dungeon. So you see all these cool, creatures that would be waiting to devour you. You can also see here that you can actually lock Castle Grayskull, which I thought it was funny. It just, Skeletor and his crew can't get in with that one little latch. But this used to be like twin guns. Can't remember what this was. I feel like it was a training block of some kind that you would supposed to be able to hit with all these weapons. As you can see, the weapons stand has a lot of broken pegs, but I did try to show you there that some of the weapons do fit on there, and basically anything that was grayscale belonged there. I believe this little bat gargoyle looking thing, I don't remember exactly what he had. This used to be a flag. I can see the residue where the flag used to be that would go at the top of Castle Grayskull. So I mean, this was the mother of all playsets. I know that there's a lot of playsets that have come after, but this one's definitely iconic. So that's all that remains of this one. Another thing that I thought was pretty cool about Castle Grayskull is there was one ship that you could buy separately, and it actually came with an extra piece that you would prop up here at the top of the tower. And if I find a picture online of the ship, I'll show it to you, because again, that one did not survive my childhood. So but basically you would park it up here and it would add a new piece to Castle Grayskull. So I thought that was pretty ingenious, pretty forward thinking of them. I always love this little detail of the steps leading up there, because I mean, you know, not really to scale. I mean, I guess He-Man would slowly, you know, make his way up there, but of course you'd have the ship right here. So, but you know, we weren't worried about scale in the 80s. Alright, so before we move on to the figures, let's look at the few vehicles that have survived here. So here we have the Land Shark, and I'm pretty sure it's obvious why he's called that. So I believe you would use some sort of rev system to pull it back, and then this would help do nothing apparently. But yeah, it's a Land Shark. What else can I say? There was twin guns, I believe, that were up here that are missing. Always used to love little details like the control panel. Gosh, it looked like somebody spilled their soda on this control panel. But you know, I was a little kid. I played with stuff and it looks like it never got cleaned up. So that is the Land Shark. Next up we have the Road Ripper. So again, this one would have some sort of ripcord that you would pop here in the back right there, and then you would pull the cord and it would be propelled forward. You know, even in Eternia they're concerned with safety, because here we have the seat belt for our action figures. But other than that, pretty simple vehicle. So let's see, this one came out in '84, so it was only 2 years after it initially started. So, you know, I would hope that they weren't running out of ideas by that point. But let's move on to some of the more classic vehicles. So here we have the classic Battle Ram. And I always loved the design of this. It was just so very cool and unique. And it's one of those that when I saw it in person and then saw it on the cartoon, you know, even as a kid, I was like, wow, they really are just basically animating the toys. So I remember this one, you know, has a couple of firing missiles here. Who knows? Let's see if it works after all these years. Maybe. Yep, still works. And you had 3 shots to get it right. But let me show you one of the coolest features of this one. Even in the show, I always thought this was a cool feature where it would separate from the tank part of it. And I remember specifically at least an episode or maybe several where He-Man or this thing would fly. And so, I don't know, just super cool idea, very simple. All you needed was that front-facing laser gun, and you could take out Skeletor and his hordes. So Such a cool, simple design for this toy. Always loved it. Now this last one's not a vehicle per se, but it is used for the figures to ride on, which is the Mighty Battle Cat. And I actually ended up with two of them at some point here. I don't know if I was trying to have one to be Cringer. For those of you who don't know, you kind of had a Superman Clark Kent thing going on with He-Man, you know, being Prince Adam and Cringer being Battle Cat. But of course this was not meant to be Cringer. This is just Battle Cat without his armor. Which was just two simple pieces. It was his, you know, I guess helmet slash faceplate, and then the stirrup and the saddle where He-Man would be. So again, real simple. You know, had no mobility. Obviously all his legs are frozen in that position, but you know, just more concerned about posing than actual articulation, I guess.